Hi, my name is William Chen. I'm the chairman of Thunder Tiger, and this is the second year we're attending the AUSA show at Washington. Our company was established in 1979 as a very beginning as a radio control company for the hobby enthusiasts. We have a product ranging from helicopters, buggy, off-road, tanks, submarines, sailboat, you name it, we got it. In the past 10 years, we have ventured into the area of defense and industrial drone. And we believe that the drone nowadays plays a very important part, especially in the modern warfare. The main theme of the exhibit this year is that we have displayed various models of the one-time combat, or you call it one-time attack drones. These commercial drones that was originally designed for hobbyists can be very deadly in the wartime. And now we have set up our production facility to ramp up production in Taiwan from the Washington D.C. motor, engine, flight controller, ESC, and cameras, GPS, you name it, we got it. So we think that the development of the USV platform is very essential to our product lines. And in my back, okay, this is the G-Shark 400, and it's 4 meters long. And at our facility in Taiwan, in Taoyuan, we have a state-of-the-art aluminum alloy facility to produce the USV platform from 2 meters to 8 meters. We can utilize the USV with the automatic navigation and the sensors and different payloads, such as explosives. They are becoming very deadly. So we have various sizes of the USV from 2 meters to 8 meters. They can also perform swarm operations, and we have GPS-denied equipment on board. Is anti-jamming to once the communication has been interfered, all right, and obstacle avoidance being added to the USV platform. So once it's on its mission plan, it can avoid the fishermen or other cargo ships. And the main reason for us attending the AUSA is to get our name out to the community, to let the world understand that Taiwanese company, we are making very dedicated commitment, all right, to enable us to becoming a player in the defense industry. Behind me is the Thunder Tiger's answer to the short-range reconnaissance drones. These drones are equipped with very high-end AI camera. It has tracking feature, optical zooming up to 40 times, and thermal tracking for night vision. And with a very portable handheld unmanned ground station, this serves as the drones that the frontline soldiers can use, to detect the environment. And with those information gathered, right, those information can be dispatched to the command center, to the frontline soldiers, where they can incorporate the FPV killer drones with the warhead, to deliver the strike. First of all, FPV stands for first person view. Several years ago, this was a very popular hobby product because it's controlled by the operator. No GPS, no mission planner. At Thunder Tiger, we have a various size of FPV. Everything made in Taiwan. Again, we have 7-inch to 15-inch. So it can carry various payload from 2 kilo to 5 kilo. All of the products you've seen here, they are ready for production. And we can produce those at scale. We can have several tens of thousand units produced. And we can deliver the FPV in a complete set or individual components. As I mentioned, these components are very essential. The different countries, they can buy the process motor or the engine or the electronics and do the assembly by themselves, or have our team or factory produce everything and test it and deliver it. At Thunder Tiger, we have UAVs ranging from air, land to sea. In addition to the one-time use drones and the USV, we also have the Seawolf 400. Seawolf 400 is an autonomous underwater vehicle. The actual size 400 stands for 4 meters. It's powered by 5 thrusters, so it can perform 6 degrees of freedom. And we plan to use the ROV in conjunction with our USV. Nowadays, they are fiber optics cables. So this ROV, they can swim along underneath the UAV and perform its mission. This is the T400 model. and we are developing this helicopter. It has a rotor diameter of 4 meters, and it's a hybrid engine design. The engine is powered by the Austrian 912 engine, and at the very end, there's a brushless motor. So it's a hybrid design, very similar to the Bell helicopters. This is the second year we are attending the AUSA. We are quite well known in Taiwan. However, we do see that the market outside of my country, Taiwan, is the key market we should go after. So by attending at the AUSA, getting more exposure and get in touch with the customers and know their demand.
Hi, my name's John Chadbourne. I'm Executive Vice President here at AM General. AM General likes to trace its legacy all the way back to the Civil War, where we actually produced wagon ambulances for the Army. We've done everything from producing Willys Jeeps in World War II, Deuce and a Halfs in the Korean War, 5 tons in the Vietnam War. And then, of course, in the 1980s, we started producing the iconic HUMVEE. We've been producing the HUMVEE for over 40 years now. The HUMVEE we produce today may look a lot like the HUMVEE we produced 40 years ago, but the capability has increased incredibly, as well as all the safety features. So we're really, really proud of that platform as it continues to serve over 70 countries around the world today. We did send a HUMVEE Hawkeye over to Ukraine last spring. They put it through some testing and now have it in use in Ukraine. We are in talks with Ukraine right now about potentially providing additional resources to them. A towed system has about 2,500 parts. This piece on the artillery system on this has about 250 parts. A lot less parts to maintain, a lot less parts to break. So it's actually easier to maintain and its mean time between failure for the system is much better than a towed system. Well, I think it really gets back to what I talked about earlier, is that shoot and scoot capability. The 105 is an excellent round for close infantry artillery support. They have 105 with towed systems right now. This system enables them to have that same capability, but able to in-place it and displace it at a much faster rate. So really, in this example, we've put a 105 onto a HUMVEE platform, but we've been able to do that by using soft recoil technology that we've invested in. And what soft recoil technology does is it reduces the recoil of a system by 60 to 70%. So what does that mean? That enables you to put a bigger gun on a smaller vehicle. In this case, normally a 105 would be towed with a HUMVEE and have to go through an emplacement and deplacement after a fire mission. This could take a lot of time and subject the crew to counter battery fire that puts their lives at risk. With the soft recoil technology, we're able to mount the Howitzer onto the vehicle. This vehicle can go in place, do a fire mission, and displace and be out of the area in less than 3 minutes. So what that does is that provides the survivability to that crew by a shoot and scoot capability. It's also a lot less stressful on the crew by emplacing a towed artillery piece, and you actually need fewer crew members because of the emplacement process, which takes a lot more crew to actually do. Now we've been selected to produce the JLTV A2, which will begin production this year. Will be the next evolution of the JLTV family of vehicles. So there's actually been over 250 engineered changes from the JLTV A1 to the JLTV A2 that we have incorporated in the very first JLTV that will be coming off the line. Some of the main ones are a new engine with increased power, noise suppression in the cab. There's actually 70% quieter inside the cab than an A1, so you can actually carry on a conversation. battery suite, it used to be 2 lead acid batteries. Now it's 1 lithium-ion battery, which will enable a lot more power and exportable power to run a lot more comm systems and other power requirements. Additionally, what we bid on this, we proposed a solution that increases the corrosion control for 30-year guarantee of corrosion on this vehicle. So that's a huge part. Now, in a more general terms, a lot of changes were really to kind of make the vehicle easier to work on. So that's really for the maintainer of this vehicle, making it less complex, rerouting wiring harnesses, hydraulic lines that will enable the maintenance personnel who are working on this vehicle to be able to maintain the vehicle easier. Basically showing that there's a multitude of different weapons capabilities that can be mounted on this very capable platform. AM General, we are very, very proud of what we do. We are proud to provide these great capabilities for the warfighter, and we take our job very seriously. We only provide products of the highest standard, and we will continue to do so to make sure the warfighter has what they need.
First of all, my name is Mark Hu, and I'm a business development manager for General Dynamics Land Systems. And what I'm going to talk to you about is really what we have in our booth today, and it's more than just one single vehicle. This is about an entire concept. And so it's Mission Command on the Move is really how we're branding it, but it has to do with a combination of vehicles. Now the Striker that's here behind me, that is the centerpiece, and that is really the command post vehicle. But it cannot operate by itself in order to accomplish the goals that we're trying to portray to the Army. This really starts with an observation I think every Army has recently from the conflicts. So traditional command posts are large and they're stationary, and they also radiate a lot of different signatures in multiple spectrums. So we are offering the Army an alternative, a better solution, a way to be able to counter that. Starting at the top, the first vehicle was the Striker, which is a command post. We're working with about 11 companies. We're looking for all the best in breed companies for a lot of the technology that's in the back. And it's not exclusively all for communications, that you can also see certain features for providing you counter air and active protective systems. We also have a feature on there which is for laser optical communications. And so at this point, it's really working when the vehicles are stationary. And so, or if you're operating moving, you still have to have clear line of sight. But you use a laser to be able to transmit, and that's the communications between the vehicles that make up the command post. This is also it's hybrid electric, which is a critical piece that adds to what we're trying to do. So it does a lot of power generation. And in fact, this thing can operate 12 to 14 hours without having to recharge. At that point, when you recharge, it takes 45 minutes to fully recharge. Now, that gives you enough power to control all the electronics that are on the vehicle and any more that come into being a requirement, as well as it eliminates the need for a towed generator. And then we're also complementing this vehicle with robots. So that's using the HMI, the human machine integration, and specifically, as we get around to the back, but I'll just talk briefly, that is what we're calling our T-Rex Defender. So we make the bottom part of the platform, and that is actually also the same vehicle that we're entering into the robotic combat vehicle competition. So that is our T-Rex, which stands for Tracked Robotic Vehicle, 10 ton. And then the payloads can be changed out. In this case, we teamed with Moog, and they have interchangeable payloads. So at the show here, every night we're changing those out. And so the effectors that are on the outside, on the either side of where the 30 millimeter is, those are changed out every night. And those can be changed quite easily in the field, and it's really based on a threat assessment by individual commands. This is configured more for a ground threat, if there would be a ground attack coming against your command post, but you can also do this for, for aerial, for UAS, counter UAS. All of these vehicles come together to make up the entire mission command post on the move. So in this case, a brigade command post for Stryker Brigade would probably dedicate a Stryker infantry platoon along with its Strykers. So that's combat power that's required normally, and manpower particularly, to be able to defend the command post. What we're proposing is you can do that robotically. So with 4 of those that are controlled from these vehicles, so there's this, the way it's configured, there's a lot of room inside to include people that would be operating any of your robots. So that's also part of it. What we do here with the MUD-XM, and you can see that we have there's 2 other products that are key to this message. We've teamed right now with Ghost Robotics for their V60, which is Vision 60 quadruped, that's the robot dog. And that is being used to transport what is called Mimic, which is made by GD Mission Systems. And that is what is used to replicate the electromagnetic signature of a command post. You could put them all in one cluster, but the enemy would find a hotspot, but they would pretty much figure out it's not a real signal because it's all centrally located. So we want to disperse those signals, and that's done by using these robot dogs as well as the MUD-XM robot. They go out and they turn on their emitters, and so that floods the battlefield with a lot of electromagnetic transmissions that would closely replicate the same thing that would come out of a command post. But they're widely dispersed, and so they actually can emit a stronger signal than what's actually going to come out of your actual command post. And so it makes it very difficult to target for the enemy. The idea is that you want to have the robots make first contact. So they would be used to make first contact. You can use them in roles for decoys and other things. And then also there's other roles, but it will be a combination of manned and unmanned vehicles. You can do onboard solutions. We have 2 of them on here. So you can see right now that we're using the Iron Fist light decoupled. They've worked to use that so it can also cover the top of the donut, the top of the dome, to give you some counter UAS there. There's some technology on the inside too that we're teaming with for how, the system that the commander would actually use. And you can, and there's ways that you can communicate like a Teams meeting. So even if the vehicles are not backed up next to each other, they can still see each other through video cameras, and they can still talk that way. They can draw on their maps, and it's seen on the other person's. It's like a John Madden view, we refer to it. I think future warfare will be a combination of manned and unmanned. I guess the way I would say it, first of all, we're always listening. We listen very hard to what the Army is saying. We pick up on their needs and messages. But we broaden that too. We are also looking at world events, we're looking at technologies, and we're also teaming. That's a very important part of this. We don't do everything. We make the vehicles and we integrate. And then we also use modular open systems architecture. So pretty much anybody can bring their product. You don't have to keep adding more boxes. You can bring a card. It's a lot of software. You don't need, to just encumber the vehicle the way it got during Afghanistan and Iraq. These had so much stuff added on. We're eliminating that. And again, that's the Army is heading that way for sure.